Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Knee Knits. My name is Amy and here I talk about all things knitting, and today I'll be sharing with you my yarn shopping experience in Poland. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are a returning viewer, you will know that I am kind of doing a mini series about my international yarn shopping experience. I just came home from a long work trip while I spent 6 weeks in Poland, and I was able to do some sightseeing and yarn shopping on the weekends, and I've been sharing my experiences in different yarn stores that I visited with you all. So today's video is all about my yarn shopping experience in Poland. Now, when you guys heard that I was in Poland, I received a ton of recommendations from those I'm assuming are living in Poland and had, intel on the local spots. And one repeat yarn store that kept coming up was called Między Drutami, and that is located in the city of Wrocław. So one weekend while I was in Poland, I took the train, headed down to Wrocław, and got to visit Między Drutami. Między Drutami carries a lot of mainstream yarn brands, including Cardiff, Pasquale, Garn, Ito, Isire, Lanagato, Rowan, and many others. They also carry a good selection of hand-dyed brands, including Billum Yarns, Martin's Lab, and Woolala. Another thing that they carry at this store is Mood Living. They had a lot of Mood Living bags on display that you could look at and feel and touch, and a lot of their collection available for purchase. One thing I really liked about this yarn store is they had a ton of sample knits around the whole store, which yes, is very common in a lot of yarn stores, but I feel like they had an exceptionally high amount of sample swatches and knits here, which is really nice, so you could get a good feel for the yarns before you buy them. And another really cool thing that this store had was the most expensive yarn in the world. And yes, you heard that right. So they carry a yarn called vicuña, which is manufactured by Pasquale. Vicuña yarn comes from a vicuña, which is an animal, and they are native to the Andes Mountains in Peru, and they produce one of the world's most rare fibers, which is why this yarn is considered one of the most expensive yarns in the world. So a single vicuña produces only about 1 pound of wool per year, which is why it's so rare and very expensive. And Pasquale vicuña yarn comes in 25-gram balls, which gives you 187 meters of this yarn, and the cost of it at Między Drutami was 1,290 Polish zloty, which comes out to about $308 US per 25-gram ball, which, yes, is a crazy price. But because of the rarity and the color, so that natural cinnamon color of the yarn is undyed, it is so soft. It's known for its temperature regulating properties. I got to feel it, which is really awesome. They keep it under a glass dome in the store, and I asked the employee there if I could feel it, and she let me, and it was very soft. I would definitely say it's softer than cashmere for sure, just very gentle and light, extremely light to the touch, and I can totally see the value in it, although I don't think I would be purchasing any for my projects anytime soon or in this lifetime. I think it's cool that you have the opportunity to see it in person there. They don't stock that yarn for purchase the day of. If you are interested in purchasing it at that store, you do have to pre-order it, so they can order it directly from the manufacturer for you. Now, although I didn't walk away from Między Drutami with the world's most expensive yarn, I did pick up a few things for myself. And the first is this skein of mulberry silk by Woolala. So this is a hand-dyed skein of 100% mulberry silk, and Woolala is a Polish hand dyer, so I was really happy to get some locally produced yarn. So I've never felt or worked with mulberry silk before. I saw the swatch at the store and I fell in love with it. Super drapey, silky, and just the hand-dyed colors really popped in the swatch. So I just picked up this singular skein. I don't think it has a color name, but you can see it has this cooler gray base with just very light purple throughout. You can see the silk is very drapey. It does not have a lot of structure. This is a fingering weight yarn. In this 100-gram skein, there's 400 meters of yarn. I am not sure what I'm going to make with with this. However, I can totally see myself making a nice sort of summer shawl or bandana just to take advantage of the drape and the softness and silkiness of this yarn. I feel like it might not have enough structure to hold up in a garment, but we'll see. This is gonna look really nice on my yarn wall. Now, this skein of hand-dyed silk was 149 Polish zloty, which comes out to about $35 US. And I also picked up this set of stitch markers. These are by Warm Knit, which is also a Polish creator. So you can see the logo there, and it's just this really nice set of neutral stitch markers. I don't collect too many stitch markers, but again, I was just really excited to support a local maker, and it just has these really nice sort of white gray beads, and there is a little like nautical charm in there as well that I will try to show you guys right there. So most of these are ring stitch markers, but you can see there is one with a lobster clasp, so definitely has some good versatility. And I will link both of these creators down below. So if you want to shop from them online, I believe they have websites that you can check out as well. This stitch marker set was 49 Polish zloty, which comes out to about $12 US. The next thing I'll be talking about is not a yarn store, but rather it's a yarn brand that I was able to shop online, and that is called Gabo Wool. Gabo Wool is a Polish family-owned yarn brand that believes in 100% natural fibers and supporting slow fashion. I am pretty sure that they don't have a storefront, which is why I shopped with them online. According to their website, their history comes from working for Sandnes Garn, which I thought was really interesting. So they pulled a lot of their skills and experience from Sandnes Garn and then brought that to Poland and then started their own yarn brand there. They have a good selection of natural yarns with fibers ranging from Peruvian wools, merino wools, alpacas, mix of those fibers. So I shopped with them online and I was able to order a couple things, which I'll show you guys. So the first is this My Time merino. So I was really curious in this because it just seems like a very staple merino yarn. This is a fingering weight yarn sold in 50-gram balls. In this 50-gram ball, you get 230 meters of yarn. So I feel like this is pretty equivalent in terms of the yardage and the weight to Sandnes Garn Sunday, as well as Knitting for Olive merino. So I just wanted to try this as well. So I got the color dark navy blue, which you can see, you know, the color name pretty much describes the color of it. It has a pretty high twist and it's very light and very plump. Like you can see how plump it is for a fingering weight. And if you give it a little stretch, it kind of thins out. But I did actually pull my Knitting for Olive merino from my yarn shelf just to compare. So in this 50-gram ball of merino, you get 250 meters. So a little bit more meterage, which means it's going to be a little bit thinner than this. And you can totally see that in the two balls, although you can see they kind of have a very similar spin and loftiness. One 50-gram ball of this merino was 26 zloty, which comes out to about $5 US. And I did get a sweater quantity of this, and to pair with it, the other item that I bought from Gabo Wool is this baby silk yak, which I am very excited to try. This baby silk yak is a 42% baby alpaca, 35% mulberry silk, 13% merino wool, and 10% yak lace weight yarn. This is a 25-gram ball and there's 200 meters in here, and you can see that it's just kind of your standard silk core fluffy fiber yarn, probably pretty similar to silk mohair or Surrey alpaca silk. You can see it's very fuzzy off of the strand, and from a hand feel as well as just from looking at it visually, I feel like it has more similarities to Surrey alpaca silk yarns rather than silk mohairs, which makes sense. There's no mohair in this and there is 42% alpaca, so I do plan on holding this with the My Time merino. You can see that the colors are pretty different. This color is called gray blue, while this was navy, but I think holding them together will have a pretty cool effect in a garment. Definitely some marling, but also with the alpaca fibers, these are definitely going to dominate in the fabric and sort of cover up the navy. I think the navy will just kind of be hiding in the background. So I'm curious to see how that'll knit. I have yet to swatch these, but when I do, I'll be excited to share with you what it looks like. One ball of the baby silk yak was $29.90 Swati, which is about $7 US. And right now, Gabo Wool only ships within the EU. On their website, they do have a list of all the countries they ship to. I think it covers the whole EU, but they do have a specific list, so be sure to check that. Unfortunately, for my knitters in the United States or Canada or anywhere outside of the EU, they currently don't ship, so maybe they will extend their shipping options in the future. But until then, Gabo Wool will have to stay within Europe. So they shipped this to me while I was living in Poland within 24 hours, which was absolutely insane. Like, the time between placing my order and me having the yarn in my hands was less than 1 day, which was really exciting for me, not something I'm used to with shipping here in the US. So that was just like a side note. I don't know if that's specific to the Gabo Wool shipping or if that's just a thing in general in Poland, but I was very impressed with the shipping speed. And that is everything that I have to share with you all from my yarn shopping experience in Poland. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If there are other yarn stores that you want to recommend to other visitors to Poland, put them below in the comments. I'll be sure to check those out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.